Hey everyone, buckle up because this deep dive is all about those creepy stories lurking in the depths of the internet, the ones that make you double check the locks at night. We're diving headfirst into a viral excerpt that's been making the rounds online. It's called, get this, The Devil's Tree. Our road trip turned into a nightmare we should have never gone.
No.
Seriously, even the title sends shivers down my spine. So are you ready to uncover if this Devil's Tree is pure fiction or something more? Ever get that feeling when reading a story like it just nails that classic horror vibe? You know, the forbidden place, the atmosphere thick with dread.
Oh, absolutely. Those elements are practically horror royalty, and they work for a reason. Like, take the forbidden place thing. It taps into our deepest fears, you know?
Yeah.
Like, way back in the day, wandering into unknown territory could mean a nasty encounter with a saber-toothed tiger or something. That instinct to avoid danger is still hardwired into us.
Right. It's like our inner caveman is screaming, don't even think about it. And this Devil's Tree story, it's practically plastered with forbidden signs. You've got Sarah and Ben, our fearless road trippers, stumbling upon this tree with all these rumors swirling around it, curses, dark rituals, the whole shebang.
Like that feeling when you see a sign that says, danger,
Yeah.
keep out. A tiny part of you wants to know why, right?
Totally. And the story just piles on the creepy details, twisted branches, the air feeling heavy, leaves rustling like someone or something is watching.
It's all about the sensory details. The author doesn't just say it's creepy, they drag you into the story, make you feel it. Suddenly you're right there with them, the wind whistling through those branches.
And then there's the tree itself, blackened bark, fresh carvings, and this overwhelming sense of being watched. What's your take on that? What do those kinds of details do to us as readers?
Well, think about it. Our brains are hardwired to spot patterns, to connect the dots. So when you read about those vivid details, the blackened bark, those unsettling carvings, your imagination kicks into overdrive.
It's like those details make it real, even if it's just a story. Speaking of real, let's talk about sound, or the lack of it. The story uses silence to build suspense.
Yeah, most people think of sound effects and music when it comes to horror. But silence. Silence can be terrifying. Like something lurking just out of sight.
It's like that moment right before a jump scare in a movie. Your heart's racing, you're holding your breath, and then, well, maybe not a jump scare in this case, but you get the picture.
Totally. And it just gets creepier when Ben's phone dies, like the story's cutting him off completely.
Talk about bad timing, right? Like no lifeline, no backup.
See, isolation, it's like horror movie 101, but it works. It's that primal fear, being alone in the dark, nobody can hear you.
And remember that detail, those fresh carvings on the tree?
Yeah.
That just makes it so much creepier.
It's like saying, hey, this curse, yeah, it's not ancient history. People are still into this creepy stuff. Gives me
Well, it's
chills.
for sure way creepier than stumbling on some crumbling ruin, you know? But speaking of creepy, the climax of this excerpt, that hand crawling out the ground, I swear, nightmare fuel.
Isn't it wild what our imaginations do with just a few details? The author doesn't have to show you everything, just a hint, and your brain does the rest.
Totally. And it's more than just the hand, right? More hands, bodies pulling themselves up as Sarah and Ben are trying to escape. Total zombie movie vibes. But what I thought was interesting is how the story uses sound. Again, right at that moment, a cracking branch, heavy footsteps. You can practically hear them dragging through the leaves. It's so effective.
It's like you're right there with them. Sound puts you in the moment, especially in horror. It's immediate, like run.
Right, like your brain is telling you to get out. Speaking of getting out, that's exactly what they do, but not before the author hits us with that ending. The shattered window, that whispering voice, pure suspense. Why are cliffhangers so effective, especially in a story like this?
I think it's because we crave resolution. You know, especially with scary stories, we want answers. A cliffhanger leaves us hanging, literally, with that what happens next feeling.
It's like, here's a taste of terror, now go think about it all night. So we've got this expertly crafted story, but is there any truth to it? Are there really places out there like the Devil's Tree, cursed spots, real-life mysteries?
Well, science might have something to say about curses, but you can't deny that history is full of places with seriously creepy reputations.
Oh, tell me more. I love this stuff.
Have you heard of the Hoia Baciu forest in Romania?
Can't say I have. Tell me everything.
Well, this place is like ground zero for strange occurrences. I'm talking unexplained lights, bizarre sounds. People even say they've experienced missing time there. Some people think it's a portal to another dimension.
Whoa. Okay, now that's creepy. A portal to another dimension. You're not kidding. That's the kind of stuff that makes your hair stand on end.
Right. It's like these places take on a life of their own, fueled by stories and legends passed down through generations. Hard to tell what's real and what's imagined.
It's like our brains fill in the blanks, and sometimes what we come up with is scarier than reality.
Exactly. And speaking of spooky places, have you ever heard of the Aokigahara Forest at the base of Mount Fuji in Japan?
I think so. That's the one they call the suicide forest, right?
That's the one. It's been associated with death and spirits for centuries.
Yeah,
There's just something undeniably eerie about a place with that kind of history, don't you think?
absolutely. It's like the weight of all those stories, all that sadness, it just seeps into the very air. You can't help but feel it, even if you don't believe in ghosts.
I hear you. And then there's specific trees, too, with creepy reputations. Like there's one in Hampton Roads, Virginia, they call the hanging tree. Legend has it that a witch was hanged from its branches, and people swear they've seen her ghost there.
See, this is what I'm talking about. It's like these stories, whether they're true or not, they tap into something primal, some deep-seated fear we all share.
I think you're onto something. It's like we're hardwired to be drawn to the unexplainable, to the possibility that maybe, just maybe, there are things out there that defy logic and reason.
And what about that detail from the Devil's Tree story, the fresh carvings? It's like proof that people are drawn to these places, even if it's just to leave their mark, to say, I was here. Like a weird, creepy pilgrimage.
There's a certain allure to the forbidden, wouldn't you say? It's like we can't resist testing the boundaries of the unknown, even if it means risking a brush with something we don't quite understand.
It's like we want to believe, even though it scares us.
Yeah, and you know what's amplified that? The internet.
Oh, totally. I mean, think about it. Whole online communities dedicated to creepypastas. Those scary stories, they spread like wildfire.
Exactly, and it's like the more we share them, the more real they feel, even if there's like zero actual proof.
It's like that saying, repeat a lie enough, it becomes the truth. But like, scarier. Share a creepy story enough, it becomes a possibility.
Which I think is what makes these internet mysteries so fascinating. It's not just the thrill of being scared, right?
It's that little seed of doubt, that what if.
Exactly. Like these stories, they crack open a door to a world where anything's possible, where the lines get blurry.
Yeah.
Between what's real and what's a nightmare.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. A creepy internet story, real-life mysteries, why we're drawn to the strange and unsettling. This has been fascinating.
You know what I find most interesting is all these stories, true or not, they say something about us, you know? Our fears, our fascination with the unknown, our need to understand the world, especially when it feels chaotic.
Like a funhouse mirror reflecting back at us, but like creepier.
I like that, a creepy, distorted reflection.
So last question. You find yourself face to face with a place like the Devil's Tree, bad reputation, rumors swirling, curiosity win out, or heed the warnings.
Oh man, that's the question, isn't it? Part of me would run, but there's always that other part, that whisper. Just one look.
I think I'll stick to exploring these mysteries from my couch, thank you very much. But hey, if any of you are brave enough to venture out there, let us know what you find. Just maybe don't go carving your initials into any creepy trees. Until next time, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the Devil's Tree. Sweet dreams, everyone.